Welcome all, Raymond Stream Gamers. Here we are once again. So, where we last left off was I was having some problems, and I say we, I don't really mean me, I mean we, I mean me. Having some problems why this taxiway would not come into play properly. And that was because I had forgotten that I had gone in here and I had turned draw surface off. And so when we turn draw surface back on, it shows up. So that was as simple as what that problem was. Now, you see how this is kind of not lined up, and I'd like to do that a little better. So if we split the path and click on this green thing, we'll just get it close to there ish, something like that. So now, if I were to change this width to, let's say, 10 meters, no. Somehow I had this figured out in my head. Wait a minute, have I done something? Yeah, I assumed by changing this, am I in that right menu? Yes, I am. I made the assumption that by changing this, I would change. Oh, I just got to pull it back further. You see what I've done there? This is kind of what I was attempting to try to do, is to kind of narrow this kind of in, right? Because I just thought it looked weird the way it was, hanging over the edge, as it were. Okay. So that's kind of the way we're going to do that. Today, we are going to start making sure that what was our plan? This is the problem with not doing videos back to back to back to back. But we want to make sure that some of our lighting, I believe we talked about lighting, we're going to set that up so that when we switch to nighttime, we actually get some taxi lights down there. Can I get it darker? Maybe I'll go this way. Yeah, it's as dark as we're going to get it. So you see there is no lights there. And this airstrip should not have lights on it. But I actually want to have a little bit of lights. I want to have a poppy lights or poppy lights back down here. I'll probably put them on both ends. I might put some center line lights. Anyways, let's kind of look at that and see what can we do to actually do that, getting some lighting there. Okay, so we'll go back into daylight again. And for those watching this, there are 2 episodes previous to this that I recommend watching before you watch this one. You know what? Let's just change that like that. That speeds it up. So I recommend watching those other 2 to see how we got to where we are. And if you know how to get through those parts, then go ahead. Don't bother with it. The other thing that I couldn't figure out is I have the same material here as I have, let's say, here, yet it seems to give us a bit of a different shading. It doesn't blend well. There was a point in time where you could say one became the priority. For example, let's say like this. If you set this weight limit to, let's say, a 1, it was supposed to change and have this come over top of. Let me see if I can get lower in there. There. So it was supposed to have this go over top of that. It doesn't seem to work the way it used to. Now maybe the SDK has changed to the point where I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know why that's on. Let's go in here and let's go to the gizmo and find out why rotate is on, because I don't want rotate on. I just want that. Now, does that mean if I double click it immediately goes to rotate? No. So we have this taxi path selected, and like I say, from what I'm told, that the starting is 0, end is 12, so we can have a weight limit of just that. Okay, so 1 through 12. Um, Everything right now is set as a weight limit of I guess 1. No, 0 was the weight limit, I think. So what if we change? What if we just look at the apron, not? Oh, I wonder if that might help us. Yeah, but that is what we're looking at. It's not an apron, it's a taxiway. So we're looking at that taxi path right there, setting that taxi path to, let's set it to 2. It doesn't seem to change it. See, in 2020, if we did that, it would change it. Like here too, for example, if I change the weight of this, right now you can see that this appears to come over top of this. But if I were to change this to a 1, it comes over top. You see that? So that's what I'm trying to do over there. I don't want that there. I want that to be like that. That's the way I want it to blend. But I'm trying to accomplish the same thing here. What I want is I want this to be a 1. I want this to be a 0. I want that to be a 0. I want that to be a 0. I want this to be a 1. I want that to be a 1 as well. I want the runway to be, well, let's change this. That's a 5. That seems excessive. Let's change that to a 1. Yeah, and then the rest of it is set correctly. Now this, how would we change that? We would have that as a 1 as well, because we really want that to go over top of the runway. Now, it's not functioning the way here with taxi paths, so maybe that is just it. Maybe taxi paths, although they have that weight limit, maybe they don't function the way I think they do. Start is 0, end is 12. Yeah. Anyways, I won't focus too much time on that. I don't want to waste too much time on that. What I really want is I want to deal with things like taxi lighting and stuff like that. So let's do just that. Let's get some taxi lighting in here. So left edge and right edge. So you can decide whether or not you want to have taxi lighting on both sides. If you do, you just go like this, and we change this to solid dash maybe. Wait a minute, these are lines. These aren't lights. Wait a minute. These are edge. Yeah, but this is edge lighting. I want edge lighting. Edge lighting. Huh. Dashed. Solid. Oh, I see. So we're putting it on solid all the way along here, right? If I change this, this is the line, the taxi line that is there. And if I put that on there as well, and I set that to there, and I set this to there and there. Why this isn't working on this one, I don't know. We missed something there because I've got that edge line on. But you see, there's the lights. There's the lighting that I was trying to get to. So let's go to nighttime here. I can't seem to get it really there. There's dark. So there's some lighting now, right? We got some lighting that's coming along there, and we'll do that all the way along, so that when we come in here, we can actually see it. So we'll put that here as well. Now, I don't know if I were to right edge lighting. If I were to do that, what would that look like? Right there, they put edges. Yeah, and that's what I want. And I want right edge lighting again. I really like to have, oh, I see, because, I get it. So if I want to change that, watch what happens to that light. See how it moves out? So we can decide where that lighting is going to be. I don't care for it the way that is much, but can I do this to it? I can. Can I do this to this? Will that set my light where I'd like it? More or less. It's a little weird how they put two lights close together here and so forth. But that's neither here nor there. Whoops. Let me fix that edge a little bit. And I'm guessing if I were to do right edge there again, it would put a light there as well. Okay. So you kind of get the point how if you want to have that light somewhere else, it wants to put it at the edge of the actual taxiway itself, right? And of course on this line I don't want that lighting there, but likewise over here, oh, I understand what my problem there is too. I don't want left lighting, and that's why it does that. I don't want right lighting, I only want left lighting. Hasn't put the lighting in. Solid, yeah, okay. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't be putting the lighting in here, because it should. Likewise here, if I say I would like left edge lighting, and I would like to have left solid, right edge lighting, it's not seeming to put that lighting in anymore. I'm not sure why. No, do you have to have the edge? Yeah, see, I don't like that. Anyways, we won't spend any more time with that. I think you get the point. It's a matter of finesse a little bit, and there is obviously some little anomalies here that if somebody has a reasoning why this isn't here, please go ahead and let me know. Now, is that because I've got that in the way? Now, because really we are still dealing with this edge here, and I think that's brought on to us by this path. So what if we were to split the path? What if we were to say on this one, we remove the material, which doesn't make any difference. Anyways, I'm going to carry on, and I see there's my light right there, which I don't care for. Now, is that light there because of this one? No, that is there because of that one. I see. So it thinks the taxiway is here when it's actually not. It's actually here. Strange. So what happens now if I go ahead and put some lighting in there? So this is more of a kind of a learning curve as well. You see, it seems like I've got something right there. Anyways, I'm not gonna spend any more time on this because I don't want to get distracted by how all this is actually working or not working. I want to just more or less demonstrate this is how you do it. It does need some finessing, obviously. The same thing will go for the runway. So within the runway, you have your runway marking, so you can have edge marking, like so. You can have threshold markings, like so. You can have center lines, right, like so. I think I'll leave center lines. You can have numbers on the runways. I know they don't have it, so I won't. I'll put it in there just for the sake of it. Why not? But let's get down to the lighting section. So here, under lighting, we have VASI. Okay. So let's say, where is the lighting now? Wonder if it comes right to the middle of it again. Nope. Let's use medium intensity lighting. Oh, oops. There, it's dark. Okay, so now we can actually see that there's lighting there, right? All the way along the runway. And so when we're at some distance coming in, we got lights. And of course, you can change all of that, and you can really customize this to the nth degree if you choose to. Like the VASI lights, if we go none, did I go none on VASI lights? I did. What did I change? Let me come back here. I have a feeling it's, yeah, there they are. There's the lights, right? And there's the threshold lighting as well too. So at some point I'm gonna have to decide how I have this runway intersect with this taxiway, whether I square the taxiway off with the runway or I change the angle of the runway. I'll probably square the taxiway off with the runway so it interacts properly. So you've got your left VASI, your right, you got your primary left, your primary right, you got your secondary left and your secondary right. And that's the side in which the lights will be on and the primary. I believe we set the runway 36 as our primary. So if I go here and say I want the poppy, whatever lights, whatever they're called, I want them on the left side of the runway. Just got to find out where they put them. The last time I did this, the lights were kind of placed in the center and I had to move them. Let me turn and see if we can see them from a different perspective. There they are. So it's made the decision that it should put them there. Maybe that's the right place to put them, but note that I have them set to be on the left side of the runway, right? So as you're coming in, the left side of the runway. But if I were to all of a sudden decide to change, before I get to that, here you can actually change the actual positioning, right? whether it's 22 meters or 21 meters, or whether it's 9 meters of spacing in between the two, right? In between the two, I think. So you can make those decisions. But you can also decide, no, I don't want them on there. I'd like to have them on the other side. Up 2. And now it's 2. And likewise, you can have with 4 lights, right? So a bigger airport, you might have 4 lights, right? They're coming in now. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Maybe it's because it's in the trees down there. It's very likely there's trees down there that it's in. That's why it's not seeing it. But this size of airport, you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have 4. You might have 2, right? And so I can decide to have them on the right-hand side here and on the left-hand side of the opposing runway. So now when I go over there, get ourselves there quicker there. So now you can see it's got lights both sides, right? So you can really customize this, and for bigger airports that might have bigger, more commercial like runways, you would want to put touchdown markers and you'd want to have thresholds and long approaches and all that kind of stuff. This one doesn't have that, but that's the way this one is going to be. But keep that in mind when you're doing your local airport. If your local airport is a bigger airport, the lighting is a thing, and you can get to that by selecting the runway and coming under this light tab. Now you can make decisions whether you want edge or center. Let's say if I don't want center, I'll turn off the center lights, and now I don't have any center lights. You just got edge lights. Okay? And so all of those controls or all of those functions are here under the lighting and VASI, right? Likewise, I won't get into this much, but there is this thing called the ILS. If this were to have an ILS, you could actually program the ILS. Now, I will say that previous iterations of ILS programming within the SDK have been somewhat of a hit and miss for me. The last time I did one in 2020, it worked out quite well. We used to have to go into the just let me get myself to where I want to get to, and then I'll where do I want to go? I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there. There. So we used to have to go to this certain location. I'll back out so you can see how I got there. So in your package that you've now produced, this is the package that we're working inside of. Inside of here is what will go into the sim. But inside of here, scenery, airport, scenery again, you double click on that. And if you have Notepad++, or just Notepad, it will work. Just Notepad++. Gives you these, blue letters, and it organizes it better, right? So it used to be that we would have to come in here and we would have to, under the runway, dot taxi, Summer's in here, approach runway, right in here. We would have to add in a whole bunch of stuff in here. I think the SDK has got smarter, and I don't believe you need to do it that way. I think you can do it in here just the same, but just be mindful if you are trying to do it in there. I have not done this in 2024 yet, and I've not been able to test it in 2024 either. So if that's something you want me to do, and we'll go over that and get it to work properly, please let me know. Comment section, while you're down there, like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful stuff, notification bells, and that sort of thing. But if that's something you want me to do, I will get in there and we'll figure out how it actually works again. I don't think it's complicated like it used to be. Anyways, so there's the Poppy or Pappy or lights that what you want to call them. They're both on the same side right now, and you don't have to have them on that side. I could swap one to the other side. Maybe there's maybe some rules about what side the Poppy lights should reside on. If there is, I don't know. Again, if you know that in the comment section, would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so here we are. we've kind of addressed lighting. We've talked about taxiways. We've talked about some edge markings and stuff like that with varying levels of success. I really think that this here should be squared off. And I think if it were to be squared off, I think we would have a more favorable outcome. And when I say squared off, this is kind of what I was thinking about doing right here. Something to this, maybe not quite so drastic, but something along these lines to get this squared off, and then this right there, I'm going to pull that out of the way for right now. I'll make that kind of go here, so I can see that it's weird. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'll keep that there. But what my thought was is if I squared this off, I could get a better look on the runway and the approach to the runway. Something like that. Now, can I move this up? Oh, I see. I forgot to move this one too. And that's why it's so goofy. There we go. So something like that, maybe, square it off. Maybe it looks a little bit better. And not only that, but I think things will line up better. Anyways, so that's kind of runway lights, taxi lights, that kind of stuff, and how you go about doing that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start talking about buildings. We're going to start bringing in some buildings. Now, it does require, I'm going to show you the actual airport that we saw at the beginning of video 1. So this is the actual airport that you saw on the very first video, and the very first thing you saw when you saw all those hangars there and everything else. And I show you this because there's some modifications that we need to do in order to get this thing to work properly. Okay, so in the package sources, you need to have a material lib if you want to put material in. Now there is a link. There will be links in the descriptions. Hopefully that will show you where some of these other videos reside, so that you can watch those if you want to understand how to go about setting this up. So if you want to add your own materials, you would create this material folder, put all your textures into there. Once you had them all in, you'd come into here and you'd create the actual material itself, and now you would have the material in this list. Likewise, we go to scenery, airports, and you would create a model lib. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create a model lib, and we're going to put all of this information within that model lib, because I want all of that this is what it was. So in my case, I'm going to copy the entirety of the folder, but in your case, if you're following along, what you want to do is you want to go back out into your airport, go back to package sources, into scenery. Let's make sure of that. I know into the actual airport. Right here, you want to create this model lib folder, right? So model lib, right click, folder, model lib. Now that you have that model lib folder, you can put all of that stuff that we had, or that you have, all of your content, which is, in my case, is all of this. So I'm going to right click on this, I'm going to hit A, I'm going to hit copy. Now I'm going to put this all in there, but yours will be slightly, maybe what I'll do is, instead of that, I'll just add one hanger in at a time so we can actually see it. Let's put the terminal building in. So that's the terminal building. Those are the files necessary. We also need the textures. I'll put all the textures in because I don't want to isolate the textures out. So copy, go here, right there, and go paste. Now, once that gets copied in there, the very first thing you want to do is you do not want to hit save. You want to go back to Project Editor, and you want to rebuild the project. And when you rebuild the project, you will rebuild the project with those assets already put in. So we'll click on rebuild. We'll let it chew on that a little bit. While it's chewing on that, there is a video that talks about how to change your assets from 2020 assets to 2024 assets, because there is some anomalies in terms of textures. There's some differences there. And the best way I found to get that corrected is within Blender, using the exporter built into Blender for that is for 2024. And there's a video again, I'll link the description. So here we are, no errors, so that's good. For all intents purposes now, when we're in the objects menu, in this list down here, I should effectively see the newly created package that I added, which is CKK7, and it is not there. Isn't that interesting? It should be there. All of that's there properly. I'll save that. Am I on the right? Should it be an object? I might need to be an object. CKK7. No. Didn't think it was. I thought it was scenery. I should have a new, you see these right here? It says Asobo Airport, SPGL, and so forth. I should have my now new airport. That's the one that I had in there already. This is a previous. Did I put the wrong one in? Let me just look at that and make sure I didn't copy the wrong one in. No, I didn't. And I should be having not CJB3 in here. I should be having CKK7 in here. Oh, I know why. I have forgotten one step, have I not? I have. Indeedly, I have. So let's go here. Let's go here. Let's click on airport. No, let's click on there. Here, we have to add a new group. We haven't put the new group in. The only thing we have in here is the scenery pack, right? So we add the group. So now we're going to add a custom. Next, I believe, we're going to add a model lib. Right there, model lib. I always name it model lib. Model lib. We'll create that. So now we've got this model lib directory. We can edit it. We can see where does it actually reside. It actually resides in the parent folder, which is that right there. Packages, scenery, airport, model lib. Okay. This should now, should now build the package. Bear with me. It's been a minute or two since I've done this. I just made the assumption that I wasn't going to have any problems doing this, because I've done this a number of times, and so I assumed that everything would be fantastic without error and so forth. There is no error there. So now if we go here, go to object, let's do a search for it. CKK. Well, this cable is in my way for my microphone. Let me put that there like so. CKK7. See, there's the airport. There's the terminal that I just added. So that was an important step that I had not done. I had not added here. It's also added in here as well. And I believe you can add it here just the same. Add a package here just the same. But that's really important that needed to get done. So there's the terminal building that we're going to place here. We'll do one place click touch, and we're going to click add. And somewhere is that terminal building exists here somewhere, where I don't know where. There it is. It just took a second for it to kind of pop in. Okay, so we placed it. Now we can get rid of this menu, and we can now deal with the hangar itself. We have to be over here to the scenery editor, and that's why I didn't come in before. Okay, so now I can move this kind of in the location where I want. I can go here and I can go gizmo because I want to rotate this thing. I want to rotate it, you know, kind of in that area. So let's call it -90. -90, not -60 this time. Thank you. Okay, back to there. We'll get rid of that. We don't want to rotate that anymore. And so we can decide where do we want to have this placed, right? Whether we want to, right? You just make the decision where in your build it's best to be placed. I'm going to kind of make the decision that in my build it's going to be best placed. I'm going to, as I said before, I'm going to be moving some of this stuff around. So I'm going to move this around and I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull that in just a bit. Something like that, because obviously you want to be able to taxi around here like this, potentially come up here. Now this is not the hangar that we want in here, which we will put in later, but at the back side we do have a bigger door that we can actually taxi in an aircraft, so we may change this as well to accommodate, you know, an aircraft being able to kind of taxi in like this and into the hangar. Okay, so you see the hangar, or the terminal, which I built in Blender, is now here. And that is how you will bring in the rest of the hangars. You will position them after you've got them created. One of the things that you should be mindful of is, I'm going to zoom in a bit, and if you look there, and likewise there is no flooring. This building actually has flooring in it. So let's go back to Gizmo. Let's go back here and get that set again. It's changing on me. Here we're going to go under the properties menu. We're going to say, you see where it says snap to ground. I'm going to click on this and snap to ground. I'm going to take that off. And the reason why I'm going to take that off, you will see here shortly. You see that wood floor in there? Well, that wood floor exists there as well as there. But it's buried in the ground. Okay, so I'm going to raise that just ever so slightly, and you can see that. Now, when you create your hangars, your terminals, be mindful of just this. You see, it's kind of leaning off the edge here. You could go in here to this ground, and you could put a pad on here, which would be level, and then put this building on top of the pad. So I'm going to show you how we go about doing just that. First things first is we're going to come in here with the terminal highlighted. We're going to find it and we're going to make it hide. Then we're going to go here. We're going to go to Object, Scenery, Apron, Default, one place, click touch, hit Add, and we're going to put a little there, and say double click there. Okay, so now we see we've got this kind of weird shaped material, and it's actually, look at that dent in there. Like, that looks like a hole, doesn't it? It is. So let's go here. I think what we'll do before we do this, I think what we'll do is we'll go back into here. We'll go back into here. We'll click the apron. We'll get rid of that apron. We'll click this apron. We'll get rid of that. Oh boy, that's okay. I want to get rid of that apron. See that hole in the ground right there? I want that gone. I don't like that hole, not even a little bit. And I don't know why it's there. So what if we were to go like this and we were to hit polygon? One place, click touch, click there, and we go here, here, here. Double click on that. And then we turn that off, click on, have that selected, go to properties, terraform. You notice how that hole is now gone? The hole is there, the hole is gone. So if we terraform that, we're going to make that a perfectly level platform to work off of. That's the idea behind creating this. So now when we go back into objects and go to polygon and then we go to apron, there, one place, click touch, click add. If I were to make my apron inside of this, whoops, this is my doing all along, which I don't like. So I'm going to get rid of them again. I'm going to start again, but this time I'm not going to do that. I tend to do this kind of weird. I push a button, and I don't know which button it is that I'm pushing that causes the stopping of the polygon. Oh, I should have, well, I'll do it right there, double click. So there, now we have a nice level pad, right? And we'll change the material and we'll do all that later. But we have a nice level pad for a terminal, which is up here again to sit on top of, right there. Okay, and of course, because we didn't really look at, you know, what size it should be, how we should orientate the polygon, we can now come in here and just say, well, look, let's move that polygon there. Let's move that polygon to maybe there. I mean, this looks decent, but let's move and add another. Whoops. You know what? Why don't we just do this? Why don't we just pull that out to there? And we'll do the same thing over here. Just to get beyond that, you see how the building raised itself up? So you don't have to put this apron in here. You could actually effectively, because we've done this, I could just hide the apron. The apron is gone. But now look at the spacing we got all over the place. What if we were to take this and put that back on the ground now? It's better. You can see the floor, see? Got a couple spots there, but it's better. So it just requires a little bit of finessing and how you do what you do here. You could put that apron back in and we could unsnap this to ground and we could lift this up ever so slightly. We could put the apron back in there and then we could put, hang on now, I lost my mouse again, there it is. So then we could do what? What am I doing? The building. Yeah. We could pack that on the ground again. And so now you notice that little tuft that was there, it's gone. Because we're sitting on a platform, right? And we don't have big gaps underneath. So you can see that if you decide, you can really get this really fine-tuned. You know, we can pull that in there, let's say like that. We can move this one out a bit. Actually, we're going to remove that one out so that we can remove this one. Just beyond, possibly. And beyond, possibly. That's good. We'll turn around here. We'll have a little look at this side. Let's pull this down here, maybe. There. Now this is all your personal choice and how you want to do this and how your local airport is actually set up, right? I mean, you obviously want, if you're doing this, for me, I actually want this to be as close to a representation as my local airport allows me. Now, when I did the airport that you saw in the first video, what I did there was I had a bunch of pictures. I've got 4 monitors, so I had a bunch of pictures of the airport, and I had them sitting on a couple of the different monitors, so I could look at them and go, okay, I want to represent this, and I want to represent that, and I want to represent this. So I'm not really doing that this time around, but I hope you get the point. You have the ability to do just that. You have the ability to create something that is much closer represented of what you actually had. If you were to go back to that first video and see what that hangar or that terminal looked like in 2020, I'll try to remember to maybe add that picture in the video somewhere. Hopefully I can remember, but the links will be there anyways. But you see what that looks like as opposed to what the AI generated looks like. It's so totally different, right? And this gives you, in my mind, this gives you a much more realistic feel and view or feel to this. So I'm going to, in our next video, you're going to see all of the other hangers placed properly with pads and materials and stuff like that, because I don't want to waste the time in recording and have you see me repeat the step over and over and over again. I want it to all be there so that you can actually see it there like you're supposed to. And then in our next video, we'll try to clean this up a little bit, and we'll try to finalize a few of the things within the scenery. We'll maybe finalize some of the aprons and materials. I may go through the exercise of showing you how, in this video as well, how to import material, because I've already shown you how to import your hangers and your so forths. We'll put in some plaques on the ground about the airport. We'll put in a flag. We'll put in some lighting. We'll put in, there'll be a number of things. That video will conclude mostly of what the airport will be. We will likely continue on this tutorial at times, refining and adding new things and showing you how to do that. But the next video will probably tentatively wrap up the series. At any rate, here we are. This is kind of the airport that we've created, right? And to be honest with you, if you were to look at some of the pictures online for this airport, the terminal, I struggled to kind of recreate the terminal. There wasn't a lot of pictures about it, but when you see the rest of the airport, as I showed you in the first video, it's fairly representative. It's not an exact duplication of the airport and the airstrip and the runway and all that, but it's fairly closely representative, by far more so than what 2024 and 2020 have it representative as. If you all of a sudden say to yourself, hey, I'd like to have that airport, I'd like to have this airport, I have links in flightsim.to for the 2020 version. Works very well. You can put it into the 2020 version and it works extremely well, no problems. I will be at some point releasing the 2024 version of this on flightsim.to as well, so you can get that there. Send me make a comment or let me know that that's what you want done, and maybe I can also provide a copy some other way. I'm not sure. Maybe I can put a link in. I could probably put a link in the description as well. At any rate, this wraps up this part of the video, and we will get to episode 4 in our next one. I hope you've enjoyed this all. I hope you found it informational and helpful. If so, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified of the next ones. And as always, don't sweat the little things. The little things will look after themselves. The big things, do something about the ones that you can do something about. And those that you can't do anything about, you can't do anything about, so don't worry about them. And absolutely, most important, be kind. Be a good neighbor. Smile at somebody on the sidewalk. Give them a wave. You'll brighten up the other person's day, and in turn, it'll brighten your day up. It'll put a little bounce in your step. So yeah, be kind. Enjoy life. Have fun. Play some games. Video games are amazing. At least for me, they are. Anyways, you guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you in episode 4 of Custom Airport. CKK7. Bye-bye now.